Jeff's Superscript is brought to you by Black Cat Comics and Collectibles. In my opinion, the best comic shop and clubhouse on the internet. Make sure to follow them at Black Cat Burbank on Instagram and ask them about their Stray Cats Club for special perks. Hi, I'm Jeff, and welcome to another one of my videos where I take a look at all the new comic books coming out on either November 9th or 10th, 2021, and I ask myself the question, what one new comic book would I buy this week if I could buy just one book? Now this week I brought out two copies that I have of Something is Killing the Children, issue number 6. I have the B cover, the unlockable variant, and I have the one per store here because these are the first full appearance of Aaron Slaughter. I brought them out this week to tee up my look back from 2 weeks ago to my pick, which was House of Slaughter issue number 1. And the question remains, was it a worthy and worthwhile pick to be my just one book pick of the week from 2 weeks ago? And the answer is, for me, yes. Yeah, it was. I enjoyed it. Now, I am 100% the target audience. I mean, it just goes without saying, those of you that watch these videos on the regular, and thank you so much for all of you that do, know very well that I'm a big James Tynion IV fan, and I'm a big Something is Killing the Children fan. So you tell me I'm going to get more stories from the world of Something is Killing the Children, and I'm like, yes, please. And in that regard, this book did not disappoint. It was more stories in the world of Something is Killing the Children. Was it as good as Something is Killing the Children, at least as far as the first issue is concerned? No, I would say not even close. But it's more of what I love. It's more of these characters and this world, and it was competent. Now, it was a little bit apparent to me that this was a story by situation from James Tynion IV and not necessarily a written by situation. Not saying that it was poorly written, it just didn't have the same kind of, excitement. Or, well, let's just go with excitement, as Something is Killing the Children does for me. But that being said, they're teeing up a whole other narrative, a whole other story. So Something is Killing the Children did that a little bit better, I think, with their issue number 1 than this. But I digress. It was good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I don't know if a non-Something is Killing the Children fan picked it up and started reading it, if they would be like, this was amazing. In fact, they probably wouldn't be. They'd probably be asking themselves, what is all this Something is Killing the Children hype? Well, if you based it just off of issue number 1 of House of Slaughter, I could understand why you would wonder why people are so excited about this title. But as a spin-off, as a supplement, as more in the story of the world of Something is Killing the Children, I really enjoyed it, and it was, for me, a worthy and worthwhile pick from 2 weeks ago. All right, let's go ahead and move forward by taking a look at this week's books. As always, I will be doing my 5 honorable mentions, and then I will have my just one book pick for this week. My first honorable mention goes to a new book called My Date with Monsters, issue number 1 from Aftershock Comics. Here's the description. 7 years ago, an attempt to weaponize dreams resulted in holes being punched through the world we know and into the world of dreams. Nightmarish creatures now stalk the land, sprouting from, and killing, anyone unlucky enough to dream. The only way to save the world is for certain people to have their dreams come true, which is how Risa Harumi finds herself not only fighting monsters, but forced into finding true love. Monsters and modern dating, it feels like a nightmare either way. And the only help Risa has is a friendly-ish monster named Croak and her preteen daughter, Machi. From Paul Tobin and Andy McDonald comes a unique story of one woman's quest to save the world, if only she could learn the difference between love and monsters. Okay. This is not the best book. I'm not saying I recommend you going out and picking up this book. if of the 6 books I have that I'm talking about this week, this is probably going to be, number 6 in the list if I was to rank them. But I want to give you 5 honorable mentions in addition to my just one book pick. And this one was, outclassed some of the other books that are coming out this week. It sounds interesting. It sounds like it could be a decent read, I suppose. So if you're looking for a monster story with a little bit of dash of, I guess, love story in it, this might be a fun book for you to check out this week. The next book I want to mention to you is a new book called Robin and Batman, issue number 1 from DC. Here is the description. The legendary story of Batman and Robin has reached nearly mythic proportions. The crime-fighting dynamic duo, always one step ahead of the criminals they pursue and never meeting a case too big. This isn't that story. This is the story of a young Dick Grayson, newly orphaned, struggling to find his way in a strange, difficult, dark new world. This is the story of Robin and Batman. The best-selling creative team behind the Eisner-winning Descender, Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen, reunite in Gotham City to tell the story of a remarkable young man learning to navigate an incredible new world. Okay, so Batman and Robin, as they describe in this description, are iconic characters. I think you could maybe have never read a comic book and you know Batman and Robin. You probably name Superman and like Batman. So you don't get more iconic. And it's easy for Robin to get kind of pushed into the shadow of Batman. And probably that's where he belongs. But what I find interesting about this is to put him in the forefront. This isn't a Batman and Robin story. This is a Robin and Batman story. And I also like that it seems a little bit more grounded. It's not necessarily, it sounds to me, a superhero story of 2 caped crusaders fighting the bad guy. It's about Robin, orphaned boy, finding his way in this new world of losing his parents and now being the ward of Batman and taking on the mantle of Robin. The last sentence says, the story of a remarkable young man learning to navigate in an incredible new world. That sounds pretty awesome to me. That a grounded, more human boy, like realistic story of a boy navigating this remarkable new reality. And Jeff Lemire is a talented writer. The stuff from him that I have read, I really like. So I have a lot of faith that this could be a really great story for all readers, but potentially, especially for maybe teenage males who might be able to relate to Robin directly. So this might be something worth checking out this week. The next book I want to mention to you is a new book. This book is called Nyx, number 1 from Dynamite. Here's the description. From the pages of Vampirella and Sacred Six comes Nyx, daughter of a human and the mad god Chaos himself. Nyx's mortal side has been growing stronger, troubling her with all too human emotions. Fortunately for her, there's still the side of her that transforms into a demon of living flame and requires her to feed on the life force of living beings to survive. Can a half-demon find her place in our world? Happiness? Even love? Probably not, as she's about to get dragged into her dad's workplace problem. Okay, so to clear some things up about this character, no, this has nothing to do with Wolverine. This has nothing to do with Wolverine's daughter. With Nyx, the first appearance of what do they call her? Weapon 13 or something like that. I forget some of the details of that. But there is a book called NYX, all capital letters, which is the first appearance of the female Wolverine. The younger one with the 2 claws. This is not that. This is capital NYX, lowercase yx, as opposed to capital N, capital Y, capital X. Anyways, now that we've cleared that up, In addition, this is not a first appearance of this character. This character has been around for a while. I had to do a little bit of research on this character to confirm this. This character, Nyx, is kind of a frenemy of Vampirella's. Has been a nemesis. I think she's been around since the mid-90s. Has sometimes been a nemesis to Vampirella. I guess sometimes they've worked together as well. I don't know all the details very well. Like I said, I had to research it myself. But that being said, even though it's not a first appearance and it's not, Wolverine's clone, I think is that how that story goes, it still sounds like a pretty interesting character, and Dynamite is one of those publishers that, they've got their Red Sonjas, they've got their Vampirellas, they've got some, I don't know, some titles that don't necessarily appeal to me immediately. Maybe they're just a little bit gratuitous in their TNA. I don't know if this is going to be any different, but it sounds like it could be interesting. It sounds like even if you don't like or read Vampirella or any of the other Dynamite titles, this one might have some value in and of itself. And if you are a Vampirella fan, then I'm sure that you're already going to be all over this. So it sounded interesting to me, and I wanted to go ahead and point it out as an honorable mention to you this week. The next book I want to talk about is Regarding the Matter of Oswald's Body, issue number 1 from Boom Studios. Yes, another new book. Here's the description. Where is Lee Harvey Oswald's body? The Kennedy assassination is a rat's nest of conspiracy theories, mafia involvement, the second gunman, government cover-up. But the most important chapter of this sordid tale may just be the theory that the body buried at Oswald's Rose Hill gravesite is not actually Lee Harvey himself. Meet the ragtag group of useful idiots who are unwittingly brought together to clean up the crime of the century. A wannabe cowboy from Wisconsin, a Buddy Holly idolizing former car thief, a world-weary civil rights activist ready for revolution, and a failed G-man who still acts the part, and specifically regarding the matter of Oswald's body. For fans of Department of Truth and Time Before Time comes an off-kilter crime thriller set in the shadows of history's greatest conspiracy by Eisner Award-nominated writer, producer, and director Christopher Cantwell and artist Luca Casalanguida. Okay, so I picked this one because, as with most of my picks in almost all of my videos, it sounds interesting to me. The Kennedy assassination is one of the most conspiracy theory riddled events, of all time. And in a lot of ways, that makes it kind of an interesting fodder for story. It kind of opens it up to all kinds of historical what-if situations. And this is basically just another one of them. Why would it matter if that's Oswald's body in the grave? Well, does that mean that Oswald's still alive? And if so, why? And if why, how? And, it could be interesting. But once again, as I've said, the Kennedy assassination is an interesting avenue for creative storytelling. So this is basically just another mystery that they've created for a narrative purpose around the event of the Kennedy assassination. So ultimately, I don't think that that's going to prop it up enough to be a good read and worth checking out. But it's at least enough to mention it and maybe pay a little bit of attention to it, because people are fascinated by it, not only in, I guess all people, I would say, most likely have some level of fascination with the Kennedy assassination. So it could have some life outside of just this comic book if it's a good enough story. That's what it boils down to ultimately. It has to be a good story, well told, with great characters. So if it has all those things, then I could see this being a really great read and something worth checking out this week. My next honorable mention is The Thing, issue number 1 from Marvel Comics. Yes, another new book. Here's the description. The next big thing begins here. Renowned storyteller Walter Mosley brings his signature style to a sweeping saga of Yancey Street's favorite son that will range from the urban sprawl of the back alleys of Manhattan to the farthest reaches of the cosmos itself. A lonely evening and a chance encounter, or is it, sends Ben Grimm embarking on a sojourn that will have him encountering and battling figures both old and new, featuring guest appearances from figures drawn from throughout the Marvel Universe, as well as precision artwork by Tom Riley. The next big thing will remind audiences why the Thing is one of the most popular and beloved characters in the history of comics. Once again, the last sentence sums it up. This book will remind audiences why the Thing is one of the most popular and beloved characters in the history of comics. Now, here's my take in general on the Fantastic Four, which is, of course, related to the Thing. I'm not particularly interested in those characters. In and of themselves, their skill set, their grouping, their personalities in general aren't that interesting to me. But what's best about the Fantastic Four is when they are in the hands of really good writers telling really good stories, they have enough flexibility within them, within their character and their power set and stuff like that, that you can do a lot with them. So what I'm going to say first about this series, The Thing, is that it has to be good stories. The character of the Thing, in and of himself, while I think he's likely the most interesting of the Fantastic Four characters, I guess you could argue that maybe Mr. Fantastic is, he's so smart that maybe that makes him one of the more interesting characters of the Fantastic Four. The Thing for me, that I know it's clobbering time guy. He's big and he's strong and he punches things, and that's not very dynamic. What's interesting to me is that he's kind of this lovable oaf, and that he's also of the Fantastic Four, he's the only one that can't go out in public. He goes out in public and he wears a trench coat and a big hat because he's trying to hide that he's a monster, and everybody sees him and goes, what is that thing? That kind of dynamic to his character, and he's kind of like a jovial, he's gruff, but seems to be loving and soft. Like I said, I'm not a big Fantastic Four fan, so maybe I'm not describing him accurately or giving him the due that he deserves. If you are a big Thing fan and you have some things that you would like to say about him, good or bad, down in the comments, I'd love to hear about that down in the comments. But this is a character that has been around for a long time. He's going to be around for a long time. He is an icon among the Marvel Universe, and I think that he's a character that often gets forgotten and kind of put off to the fringe. He's not an A-list superhero, especially in a world where you have the Incredible Hulk. But I think that there's potential there for really great storytelling. So I had to give an honorable mention because I think that the potential is there for great storytelling from this character and in this book. All right, those are all my honorable mentions. Now we are going to move on to the one book that I would buy this week. If I could buy just one book, and that book would be Venom, issue number 1 from Marvel Comics. Yes, a 6th and final new book this week. Let's read the description. Like father, like son. An epic new era for the sinister symbiotes starts here. Hot off the heels of Venom 200 and Extreme Carnage, we're closing out 2021 with one of the most ambitious books in symbiote history, an all-new Venom from some of comics' greatest talents. Marvel mainstay Al Ewing, who himself has just ended a character redefining run on Immortal Hulk, is being joined by Ram V, a horror maestro all his own, to craft a mind-bending and gut-wrenching tale of symbiosis, the likes of which the Marvel Universe has never seen. As if that wasn't enough, they've been joined by industry legend Brian Hitch, who is leaving it all on the page. We haven't led you astray yet, have we? So trust us when we tell you that you have never seen a Venom like this. Okay, So yes, Venom 1 is coming out this week. The previous Venom run in the hands of Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman was a phenomena in a lot of ways. Venom is one of those characters that has a kind of built-in fan base. People like the dark anti-hero aspects of Venom. And it appears to be that Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman did not let the fans of Venom down with their run on Venom, especially with the creation of bad guys like No, and now they have introduced Eddie Brock's son Dylan to the world, and now we're going to go into spoilers. If you haven't finished Donny Cates' run on Venom, it's been a while, so I think we can go into spoilers now. Dylan is now the new Venom, and Eddie is like this kind of god of the symbiotes right now. You know, Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman left the Venom universe in kind of on a high point, you know, with a new Venom and Eddie with this brand new power set. There's, I think, a lot of potential for new storytelling, the way that Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman left the characters. Now you introduce Al Ewing and Ram V, who have time and time again proven that they can write a comic book. And you put the two of them together and doing this work. Listen, when you put two writers like this together, I think one of two things is going to happen. Either you're going to get kind of like a lot of egos and, two big egos because you have two big talents kind of butting heads, and you're going to get an uneven comic book, which is possible, or you're going to get something really, really special. I am not particularly a huge Venom fan. I started reading Venom, Donny Cates' Venom, because of the hype, and because in general I'm a fan of Donny Cates, and I enjoyed what I saw from Venom. But as a non-Venom loyalist, I'm excited about checking this out. I think that Al Ewing and Ram V really could make this something special with once again the way that Donny Cates teed it up for them. So I think this is going to be a big book this week, once again, because not only of all the Venom fans, but because I don't know, I want it to be good. I want to become one of those Venom fans. I want to become one of those people who are like, Venom is an amazing, amazing character, and I really think there's a lot of potential for that this week. And that's basically all I have to say about it. For me, the character is firmly established. The story where it's kind of beginning is firmly in place. Now it just remains to be seen how these new writers tackle the material, and I think it could be great. And that excitement that I have for Venom issue number 1 is why it is my just one book pick for this week. All right, that's the list. As always, let me know down in the comments if there's a book that's coming out this week that I didn't mention that you're excited about, or if you like my pick for the week, or if you think my pick of the week is stupid. All of these things I would like to hear about down in the comments. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I would invite you to subscribe to the channel. But make sure you hit the notification bell, because I put out fun videos. At least I think they're fun from time to time and randomly. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one.